So there is something that I was wondering about. Do people perceive the world differently before going vegan versus after going vegan? I personally experienced this difference in perspective and changes in perspective after going vegan. And today I want to talk about 5 different things that have changed in my life after going vegan coming up. So going vegan is a life shift for everyone. If you're going vegan, you've probably seen Dominion or Earthlings, or you probably read some books like Eating Animals or Animal Liberation. I personally read Eating Animals by Jonathan Safran Foer about a year and a half ago, and I started to see the world differently, quite differently. For example, everyone around me looked like serial killers who just take lives of innocent sentient beings for 5 minutes of palatable joy. And I was wondering if the same incident happened to you if you're vegan, comparing the world before vegan and after vegan. So first thing that changed in my life after going vegan is my perspective on friends. So before going vegan, I thought every one of my friends was pretty nice and it was really fun to hang out with. We would go to bars, we would go out and eat, and meat and eggs tasted really great while we were drinking. But after going vegan, my perspective on them have completely changed. I no longer saw the meat on the table the same. While other friends saw the meat as merely object or food, I started seeing what was going on inside the meat on the plate. I started to see animals crying out for help. I started to see how awful the lives of livestock were. Definitely my perspective on friends have changed. Second thing that changed in my life is the town. So I used to like going around the town, seeing a lot of atmosphere, especially if you're in urban area, you almost never get bored. But after going vegan, town, if it's not vegan friendly, you see a lot of meat restaurants and barbecue restaurants, and it's really easy to find those places. And I really get overwhelmed by how many people actually look for meat. I always get sad when I see how much demand there is for me still. So town looks never the same after going vegan. Number 3, celebrities. Celebrities, I used to think they're very attractive and they are very good looking and fit. Every time I see some celebrities contributing to the society in some type of form, I respected them. But after going vegan, if the celebrity is not vegan, I started to see their hypocrisy being exposed. They are doing something good for the society, but at the same time, they are contributing to animal cruelty. And I understand for celebrities, it's really hard to go vegan because of the criticism that vegans still face. But to me, if someone's trying to contribute to social issue, then why shouldn't they be contributing to animal liberation? Even some people seem really kind. If they're not vegan, they look bunch of psychopaths who manipulate the crowd to like them. Because for celebrities, it's all about getting their names out there with a good reputation. So celebrities never look the same. Although I still like some non-vegan celebrities, but the number of celebrities that I like has been greatly reduced. Number 4, animals. And when I say animals, I'm talking about dogs and cats, household pets specifically. So after learning about places like Pet Mill, where the pet industry breeds puppies and kittens to sell those baby animals on a massive scale for profit, I started to see dog differently. So before going vegan, before learning about pet meals, I just simply thought, well, dogs are very cute. I would go to pet shop to see those puppies, interact with them. But after learning about pet meal or after going vegan, I started to see those unfortunate parents of the puppy because they were forcibly impregnated to produce this puppy right here. So I could no longer see the dogs as normally as I could before going vegan. So my perspective on animals was changed, and also on livestock, of course, changed. Before going vegan, beef, pork, chicken, I thought they were grown on an open farm. But how many meat is there on this planet? And meat is cheaper than ever. So how do they manage to do that if they raise the livestock on a very open farm? And unfortunately, that's what media want us to see, the meat or a dairy, egg, the animal ingredient. So I never really questioned why meat is really cheap and there are tons of meat. Although the amount of milk looked pretty ridiculous to me. How many cows are there on this planet? Milk and dairy are everywhere, so I kind of was skeptical about it, but I never really went out to question what's going on inside a factory farm or inside the meat or dairy or eggs that I was consuming. So my perspective on animals have changed dramatically. And I'm sure for you too, if you're vegan. Number 5, family. My perspective on family has changed. So before going vegan, I never questioned my family's morality. I always thought my father or my mother was right about anything. So if father says, this is how things work, this is how animals are raised, and this is how we, live in this world, I never really questioned because that's only my guidance. I trusted my parents more than my teachers. I don't know why. And I saw my family as very kind and loving species. They were closest to me and they provided me with the most love available. So I always liked them. But after going vegan, my perspective changed. So I no longer saw my father or my mother the right person. And I started to develop my own opinion on things, which was good because I was no longer someone who only trusted my parents' words, and I started to be disgusted by how my family was contributing to something that I was against. And I'm sure that's a real struggle for many people who went vegan, and most likely their parents are not vegan, and I feel like I was living with serial killers and psychopaths. So there are 5 things that I've come up that changed post-vegan, after going vegan. Now I'm going to share coping strategies for each one. So number 1 was friends, and this is something that a lot of people struggle with because if their friends are non-vegan, some people try to ditching them, but I don't do it. I accept them for who they are. So I understand how going vegan is a big shift and you have to give up a lot of things, although you don't really do. But before going vegan, everyone thinks you have to give up a lot of things. For example, meat, dairy, egg, they somehow seem very significant to give up for. I understand human nature hates change because that decreases the chances of surviving. That's genetically speaking. I understand humans are imperfect, and those are imperfect humans, including my friends and myself. So I used to be non-vegan also, and I resisted the change. So I stayed vegetarian because I was afraid of changing, and I didn't know about the factory farming as deeply as I do now. So maybe my friends don't know about factory farming. Even if they do, change is not easy for anyone, so I tend not to blame them for being non-vegan, although I want them to be. But if I try to force them to go vegan, it's never gonna work. So I have to wait them to be or go vegan. I just have to. And by being more compassionate for those who hate changes, I can gain a better understanding of what humans are. In sustaining relationships with vegans and non-vegans at the same time will widen my perspective. It doesn't mean I forgive them for being abusive monsters, but at least I try to understand them, how hard it is to be vegan. I know that not everyone's gonna agree with me, but this is just my personal opinion, that change is going to be hard for anyone. So acknowledging that they're human beings who are imperfect is going to be less stressful to deal with your friends. So that's one strategy to cope with your friends. 2, town. Now this is something you have to get used to. Unless you're living in a vegan friendly town, you are going to see a lot of restaurant, but this is something that we have to face, get used to. It is really disturbing, I know, but that's why we are fighting for it. By seeing those places, meaty places, we are reminded by how we have to keep going with our activism. So there's nothing we can do about it unless you move on to a open farm or very rural area. Town full of meaty places is going to be really difficult to avoid. So acknowledge that this is still a non-vegan world where most of the population still eat meat and still are non-vegan. So for number 1, number 2, friends in town, you just accept the fact that we're living in a non-vegan world. And that's why if you're vegan, your movement, your activism is valuable. That's what makes your movement valuable. And that's what makes my activism valuable and worth fighting for. Number 3, celebrities. That's something similar to friends in town, but easier to implement. So if you own a TV, just don't watch the TV. If you're seeing TV, you are more likely to see the celebrities on TV. So I don't have a TV. Although I still like non-vegan celebrities, but I don't have to watch their hypocrisy, and it's not even worth watching it. So if you don't like the TV, don't watch. Just like if you don't like one YouTuber, don't watch that. Exposure of the hypocrisy is really frustrating. Seeing those hypocrisy from celebrities is really frustrating. So why would you even bother watching it? Number 4, animals. This is something that you can try appreciating more. So when you see a dog on the street, you can try to be dumber by just observing that animal and seeing that's cute. Otherwise, so many things that might make you happy, for example, like how cute animals are going to be misery. So what I tend to do is every time I see a dog, I just see them without thinking about how their parents are bred to be pregnant machines. Because if I do think of that, my joy in life, everything, not just animals, is going to be very sad. So just appreciate their cuteness. And you're not contributing to pet meals if you don't consume puppies or kittens. So just observe and think it's cute. Enjoy your life. Number 5, family. Well, this is the hardest to deal with. Family is something that you're going to have permanently. They are the closest to you. They share the same blood as yours, and perhaps some of you live with them still. How I deal with my parents is that the same strategy as how I deal with my friends. They are humans. They are imperfect humans. I cannot expect anyone to be as I would like them to be, and changes are uncomfortable for anyone, so I can try persuading them. But when they say, well, like that it's a hassle to go vegan, I don't get mad or upset about it, because that's kind of wasted energy, and I would shift to different people, different direction that are possibly capable of changing to vegan. So I occasionally try to persuade my parents. If it doesn't work, I turn to someone else, and again and again and again and again. That's what I do. And instead of going mad when someone says, well, animals are here for us, I say, well, yes, that's true that humans have domination over other animals. But just because we have domination over something, does that mean we can exploit them? Do we want to be authoritarian? Do we want to harm people who are weaker than us? If someone says, well, this is natural selection, this is survival of the fittest. Well, lions kill gazelles though. Well, you can say, well, yeah, I understand. Lions kill gazelles. But we don't act like lions. We don't rape. We don't kill. We don't brutally bite someone in the ball. So instead of going like, you're not, you can just try to be more assertive. And what I mean by being assertive is to deliver your message without hurting yourself or hurting others. So you have to have one word that's soft on people. So acknowledge that the other's opinion. Well, lions kill gazelles. That's true. Instead of saying you're an idiot, you can start off, well, thanks for pointing it out. Lions kill gazelles. But do we act like lions? Do we have the right to act like lions just because lions kill gazelles? Do we kill other people? Do we rape other people? You can try to be more logical and less dramatic. And by being less dramatic, they regard you as a logical person and they start to listening to you. And what I use is that, and my strategy is always be saying thank you. Well, thank you for being interested in this topic. When someone says, well, veganism is bad. Well, at least you're interested in veganism. Thank you. Not so many people are capable of being interested in veganism because they're too busy caring about their life. And you start to question their moral code by saying, well, like, what do you think about this thing? So for example, instead of saying, well, we shouldn't kill animals, instead of stating your opinion, you ask their opinion by saying, well, what do you think about killing animals in the first place? What justifies killing animals in the first place, right? Do you think we have the right to kill animals? Do you think animals have the will to live? Do you think animals want to live, right? So always question form will make them come up with their own answers instead of hearing our answers, and they start to realize how irrational of them to keep exploiting animals, but at the same time conserving animals like endangered species and household animals. So those are the coping strategies for each: friends, town, celebrities, and animals, and family. And assertion is particularly useful, so I suggest you use that. It really saves your relationships and you become more assertive, meaning that you have more control of your opinion. You care less about what others think about you by practicing assertion. So those are 5 things and 5 tips on how to deal with non-vegan world. And let me know if I missed something. Things that changed after going vegan. Let me know in the comment section below. I'll be reading comments because I'm feeling much better now, and sorry for making you worried about me. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Until next time.